It's true.
Let's find out.
Indeed.
Okay. Finally. We were finally free. There wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. Deadly life. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. Started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long, couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. And is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So,
right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. Conscious effort.
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. It's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. Before I came here, Yep.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh?
In
order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, is because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect. I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However...
There's something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? Last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather. They had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. Couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that, compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know? He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing. Maybe she said it, but it was true? I might have misread that. I apologize if I did. One thing that I can never forgive.
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me, even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that, I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. After I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
We're
That's
back.
right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? Fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Here goes nothing. Hatch opened with ease, and so... here we are. Looks like we're back. I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. Can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. Never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Now what do we do? Glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might.
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then.
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words.
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However.
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared? Said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Makuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. It'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. Still a little, super uneasy about this. Don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Should be in the gym. Well, alright then. Can I teleport? Huh. Yes, I can. And we're here. Whew.
Well now.
Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I
But Makoto's supposed to be dead.
it!
What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay?
Pung, pung.
You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. Now I gotta punish you again.
Angry!
This time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko! Do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However.
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
No.
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? Huh? I lose?
Hey!
Explain yourself, what do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
In other words...
I was supposed to be chosen as the Black Hand and then executed, right? What are you talking about?
However...
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
Right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation, no more than that. Must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However...
There's a fucking airplane. Hold on a second. Okay, I think it's passed. Cool. But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you killed it.
Am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Makuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Black Knight is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And then that means I lose. You talk a big game. You're saying the Black Knight is me and not Makoto?
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth.
Pung, pung.
Now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type?
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
And there's another fucking airplane. Fuck! Jesus, that one was loud as fuck. Oh, okay. Okay. Here we go. But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
That's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence.
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Makuro's trial over again. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
That would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? Fair trial, one last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Makuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. What reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting, huh?
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Barry,
What's wrong?
I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. What you suggested might be plausible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? It would cause you unbearable despair, right? And I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
Long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, we have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right, every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain
And that'll be enough.
myself!
to qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well good, then let's bear it all. You can claw your way to the truth of Makuro's death and solve the mysteries of the school.
You guys!
Then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we'll all face execution, right? When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. For sure.
hey,
Just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement. Don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on school regulations. Having a trial for Makuro is no exception to that. Huh? Makuro's trial is no exception? And it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Makuro. Very polarizing approach, I know. But okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak Academy, Hope's Peak since the killing game began, are those 16 students. What?
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now
I'm
really angry.
I'm done talking. Got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would ya? Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone, get out of here. Okay, I'm going, just... You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get punishment later anyway. You need to start getting it ready. Super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey.
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Okay. Well, Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. Just like that, we were out of the gym. Well, great. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. Still had my life, we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than I expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. I mean, I saved her life, so fucking she's in my debt. God damn it. Thank you, everything I have right now is because of you.
However...
Don't thank me just yet, the real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. Still, I'm glad it worked out. Wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? They don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
So...
They had no choice but to accept. Huh?
Because...
It's all because of that one moment that the mastermind let down their guard, like I said. When was it the mastermind let down our guard?
So...
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the mastermind said? They said they hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Definitely said that.
Listen.
What did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
Don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However...
Yet somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
In other words...
But think of it another way. Must have been some reason why they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
So...
They had to show the world something no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
It would seem...
Mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. All their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
In other words...
So the Mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other, and show that off to the world. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey.
Outside world has a name for students of Hope's Peak, right? Certain concept. Talking about hope, right?
That's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair. The Mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal, as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? That's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. And that group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet... that same motivation is what led to the Mastermind revealing their weakness. And what?
In other words...
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The Mastermind Mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the Mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
At the very least...
At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. That's why the Mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
Indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, and made me out to be the killer. But once even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you.